stench is in the air, the funk of 40,000 years, and grisly ghouls from every tomb are closing in to seal your doom. And though you fight to stay alive, your body starts to shiver, for no mere mortal can resist the evil of the thriller.
faith in human relations. It's a turf war on a global scale. I'd rather hear both sides of the tale. See, it's not about races, it's just places, faces. Where the blood comes from is where you stasis. I see the fight get dark. I'm not gonna spend my life in the dark.
Yeah, whoopity doing that, but it's Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right. It's me, Uncle Lou, and guess what? I'm live for you on LouTube today. Thanks for watching Uncle Lou After Dark, the college football call-in show. YouTube's longest-running college football call-in show, too. And also, that's right. There's plenty of shows, plenty of call-in shows are better than this one. None of them have been doing it longer than me, though. Yep, that's right. Anyway, hope everybody's doing okay. What is today? Thursday? Yep, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I usually can't do these call-in shows till 10 o'clock, but due to some scheduling benefits in my favor, I'm able to do the show early today. So here I is. Glad to see you all in here. Normally, my kid has soccer practice till like, it's 9 or so before I get home, but didn't have that issue today. So here I is. Anyway, hope everybody's doing well. 706-786-4481 is the number if you want to be on the show. 706-786-4481. Give me a call. We can talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Georgia, Bama, any of the other conference title games that are coming up this weekend. Got the Pac-12 title game tomorrow night, rematch, Oregon and Utah. Utah put it on them just a couple of weeks ago. We'll see what happens tomorrow. That one's in Vegas. Pac-12 title game in Vegas, Allegiant Stadium, the Raiders' new stadium out there. That's tomorrow night. The rest of the Power Five and the Group of Five conference championships games mostly on Saturday this week. So I'm sure we'll all be watching those. So give me a call. We can talk about that. The playoff rankings if you want to, playoff scenarios, whatever it is that's on your mind when it comes to college football. Give me a call, 706-786-4481, and we'll discuss it. Everybody hit the thumbs up at the start of the show here. That's a huge help to a live show. It doesn't take you any time to do it. It's free, and it really is a big help to a live show. So there's 139 in here. We ought to be able to get to 100 thumbs up. That's the goal for now, 100. Get Lou to 100 thumbs up. Let's go. Hit the thumbs up button. Super chat right below the comment section. If you want to support the show, that's a great way to do it. You can attach a note to your super chat. I'll be happy to read it and ask me a question, troll me, make a comment, whatever it is, I'll read it. There's also a PayPal link for those of you that have PayPal and don't mind using it. I'm going to post a PayPal link in the comment section now. It's also listed in the description of the video. And the mods will repost the PayPal link every 15 minutes or so. YouTube steals half your super chat before the YouTuber ever gets it. PayPal does not. You can attach a note to the PayPal just like you can to super chat. Same deal. Uncle Lou will be happy to read it for you. Yes. So thank you in advance. 155 people. Let's get to 100 thumbs up. Let's get out to the phone lines and see what's on your mind. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, what's up, Lou? How you doing?
Doing great. Amazing, even.
This is Kyle.
Hey, Kyle.
So I got just a quick question for you. What are the chances of Oklahoma State jumping Cincinnati if they both win this weekend? Do you think Oklahoma State would jump Cincinnati because they got that big win over Oklahoma?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think Cincinnati would probably stay in the top four.
I mean, it's going to be Bama. It's going to be Bama. I mean, Bama. It's going to be Georgia, Cincinnati, Michigan, and Oklahoma State in whatever order.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think so too. I think that'll be a good playoff poll right there. But I love your show, Lou, and keep doing what you're doing.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Good to hear from you. Thanks for taking the time to call in. I think if Oklahoma State beats Baylor, they're in. The Pac-12 not getting in. ACC not getting in. Cincinnati is getting in. That leaves 3 spots. Georgia, Oklahoma State, Michigan. There you go. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
What's up, Lou? What's up, Lou?
What's up?
This is Matthew Flanders. Matthew, the dog fan, one-man band. I'm coming on to say, go Dogs, and I'm a big fan of yours. I can't believe I got on the show, but go Dogs! Woo-hoo.
Go Dogs. Thank you for the call, sir. Y'all know Georgia's winning this game. Everyone knows. Even Bama fans know. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Roll Tide, roll.
Whoa, Tide! That was it? All right. Great call. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou, how's it going?
Doing great, man. How are you doing, though?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
I called for the first time just the other day. I'm an LSU fan from East Tennessee.
Oh, yeah. I remember you. Yeah.
Well, I just had one really good question. So,
All right.
since Marcus Freeman has been basically named the new head coach of Notre Dame, do you see a way where those players come together, and if they do get into the playoffs from Cincinnati losing and Alabama losing or whoever, and them coming together and making a run with him as their head coach?
No, but not because Brian Kelly's not there. I just, I mean, when you say making a run, I'm not sure what you mean. Depending on the matchup, maybe they would win a first round game, but it's not likely in my opinion. But it's possible, I guess, because if they get in, they're probably going to be 4, and you know what that means.
Yeah, they're not beating Georgia. We all
Right.
know that.
Yeah. So, but I don't think. I mean, I don't think it's a benefit to not have your head coach, but I don't think that would be the reason Notre Dame lost to Georgia if they lost to Georgia. You know.
No. If they lose to Georgia, they had to play Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Now, a rematch with Cincinnati, a coin flip against Oklahoma State or Michigan, maybe, but I can't see them beating Georgia with or without Brian Kelly.
Well, I just wanted to tell you this, and I'll get off here. As a resident LSU fan who loved the 2019 season, I seriously think that Georgia is the exact opposite. They're just that on the defensive side of the ball. They're the best defense I've ever seen in college football.
I've heard that comparison made the same way you just made it, like Georgia's a defensive version of 2019 LSU. I've heard that argument made.
Well, have a good night, Lou, and good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for the call. It was good to hear from you again. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. But how are you, though?
I'm good, man. I'm doing real good.
Good.
It's good to be a dog fan, man.
Yes.
It's good to be a dog fan.
Facts.
So my question is, do you think that Dan Lanning will leave Georgia if Georgia wins the Natty to take a head coach job?
It depends on the job.
It depends on the job.
Yeah.
I was thinking because there's rumors going around about maybe him becoming the head coach, but I just don't think that he will leave Georgia right now, even if they win a Natty. I do think that he will get a pay raise with UGA if they win a Natty. So my thing is, a lot of people have been talking about the whole Alabama Georgia game coming up, and I just been telling people, hey man, what I think, I take nothing away from Bryce Young as a quarterback. I think he's a great quarterback. But my thing is, I do see him fall underneath pressure. When he gets pressured, he comes out the pocket, and I just think that Georgia's defense is so dominant in the NFL caliber team that he would just get pressured all night, and he's just a high class UNCLELOU for me.
Yeah, I think he's a great quarterback. But the offensive, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you can't protect your quarterback, it almost doesn't matter how good he is. So I mean, he has negative 30 yards rushing for the year total because he's been sacked so many times. He's been sacked 30-something times.
Yeah, correct.
Stetson Bennett's been sacked 6 times.
So, what do you think the outcome of the SEC championship game will be?
I think Georgia will win.
All right, Glue, man. I really appreciate you, man. Keep up the good show, man. Go Dogs.
All right, buddy. Yeah, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. It was good to hear from you. Whoa, tired, woo. Luther better calm his ass down. That Luther better calm his ass down is what he better do. Last thing I need is Luther around here messing with me this week. That's the last thing I need is Luther around here messing with me this week. Infinite Auburn, thank you for hitting the super chat tonight to help support the show. He says, my hate for the Gumps is greater than my hate for UGA. I think that's a law. If you're an Auburn fan, I think you have to hate Alabama more. So I think you're doing it right there. Raj, what's up, Raj? Thank you for hitting the super chat tonight, buddy. He says future coaches Lou, Pete, Raj, Carolina Jackpot, Rhino, VicTube, Huffer Billy Paul, and Colby. They'd be undefeated. Them's facts. Let's go. Hashtag couch coaches. Fuck Bama. And go Dogs. You pretty much said it all there, Raj. You pretty much said it all. Raj says, Lou, good morning. Hey, I'm in East Tennessee, but raised an LSU fan. Lou says, makes sense. If I was raised in Tennessee, I'd have to pick another team too. I don't blame the man. I don't blame the man one bit. I don't blame the man one bit. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
Uncle Lou, how's it going, my man?
It's going great. How are you?
All right. Good to be a dog fan.
Yes, it is.
I don't even think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be close. I think there's going to be a smackdown.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I would love to not have to sweat through the second half of that game.
I know that's right. But listen, this is my thoughts on the Final Four. Georgia, Cincinnati. People want to see that. And I think it's going to be Michigan and Oklahoma.
Oklahoma State.
Then it's going to be Georgia, Michigan. Georgia, Michigan.
You mean Oklahoma State, right?
Yeah, Oklahoma State. Yeah, Oklahoma State. My bad.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most likely scenario.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, guy, I appreciate what you do, and you have a good rest of the day.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for taking the time to call in. It was good to hear from you. I hope to hear from you again at some point in the not too distant future. Yes. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Lucius, what's going on, my man?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, this is Michael Gill. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hey, man, I just wanted to call in. I guess we're on the eve of the SEC championship game, and we're here, man. We've made it. It's hard to believe the season's already at this point, but
well, we're on the eve of the eve.
Well, this is the last Lou show before the SEC championship.
Yes,
so,
this is the last
everybody
show.
that matters.
Right. Yes, you are
That's
correct.
right.
Thank you.
For everyone that matters, this is the night before. But anyway, it's hard to believe that we waited all through COVID and everything to finally get this season going. It's hard to believe that we're at week 14 now, but we're here. Georgia fans, we've been waiting for this for a long, long time, and I think we have a legitimate shot this year at taking Lord Saban down. I think it's the best chance we've had in quite some time. He's always had a better team, it seems, and this is the first time I think that we legitimately have the better team. But I just wanted to, call in and say it's been a fun run this year, and I'm looking forward to January, and hopefully we can get us a win Saturday.
I think we can. Hard to find anything to argue with.
Hey, let me ask. Let me ask you this question. Something I've been thinking about.
Right.
Is Will Anderson better than Nakobe Dean?
They play different positions. So is Deion Sanders better than Tom Brady? I have no idea. I don't know who's better, Deion Sanders or Tom Brady.
You know, I don't know if you. I'm sure you have. Are they playing him at a true defensive end this year?
Who?
I know he played Jack last year, but it seems like this Dallas kid has been playing Jack, or at least in the Auburn game, and they had Anderson playing a true defensive end.
Well, there's not much
anyway.
difference depending on whether you're playing a 3-4 or a 4-3. I mean, if you're playing a 3-4, the guy's an outside linebacker. Playing a 4-3 is a defensive end. I mean, I see linebackers put their hand in the ground. I see defensive ends stand up. It's hard to tell the difference. A lot of these positions are hybrid positions these days. I mean, we've got safeties that play inside linebacker. We've got inside linebackers that play safety. But in the simplest form, to me, Will Anderson's an outside linebacker. Whether that means he's standing up or he has a hand on the ground, I consider Will Anderson an outside. In any case, he's an outside player. Nakobe Dean is an inside linebacker, so it's hard to compare the two.
Let me ask you this second question then. It seems like from everything I've read from the injury reports that Jamari Sawyer is going to give it a go potentially.
Yeah.
What are the chances that we see Jamari replace Warren Erickson and Broderick stay at tackle?
I don't have any idea what those chances are. I would assume if Jamari is healthy, they're going to go back to the lineup they've been using the majority of the year, which would not include Broderick Jones, but who knows?
I mean, he's been playing pretty well, and, you know, Warren Erickson, he's just a human, what are those things called? That you walk through at the airport?
Turnstile.
Turnstile, yes. He's
Right.
a human turnstile.
Well, it could be worse. He could be Alabama's right tackle. That guy, good Lord.
Sure.
That guy's horrible.
Yeah.
One of these Gumps, tell me what that clown's name is. What's that clown you Gumps have playing right tackle? What a disaster he is. Good luck.
If they gave up 6 sacks or 7 sacks against Auburn, I think we are going to – I think Nakobe Dean and Jordan Davis and all of our outside players are licking their chops right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Bryce Young's going to be running for his life the majority of the game. I mean,
I agree.
That offensive line is just not.
I think if once you pressure him, he goes to shit.
Yeah, he's going to be doing a lot of running around.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Lou, let me let you get somebody else on here.
All right, buddy.
Just wanted to call in and celebrate the end of the year and just say go Dogs.
Yep, go Dogs. Good to hear from you, sir. Thank you for taking the time to call in. I certainly appreciate it. Yep. Edgar, thank you for the super chat. He says, Uncle Lou, thoughts on Southern Cal and the Riley hire? I think it's a good hire. Not very many coaches out here winning 11 games a year. Not very many at all. I mean, these people are saying the same thing about the Lincoln Riley hire that they're saying about the Brian Kelly hire. They're going, ha, 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 ha. They can't win a playoff game. Meanwhile, there's 125 other coaches that can't make the playoffs. I mean, what are we really talking about here? I mean, I like to make fun of teams for losing playoff games too, but to act like Brian Kelly's a bad head coach or Lincoln Riley's a bad head coach, how many? I mean, Brian Kelly's took Notre Dame to the playoffs twice. Start counting out loud the number of coaches who have gone to the playoffs twice or more. Count them out loud. It won't take you long. It won't take you long at all. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, man, I've been probably watching you for like 4 or 5 years. I I know the first ever LouTube video I watched. I think it was before it was LouTube. We were going crazy at Mark Rich for finally putting in Fatone Bauta.
Yes.
And not running any zone read plays. Oh man, that video was great. I had never heard of you. Lifelong Georgia fan, never heard of you before. And it got shared on my Facebook from somebody I don't even know. And I was like, this guy right here, he fucking gets it, man. This guy gets it. And so I started watching all your other stuff, and the rest is history. And just to think from that video, you didn't have a studio or anything yet. You was doing stuff in what looked like your garage. I think that one was in your hallway or something.
Yeah, that one was in a hallway, but you're right. I was working out of my garage at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, man. To think of that, video all the way to where we are now.
Yeah.
And how much Georgia has gotten better. And then when Georgia hired Kirby Smart, I felt like it was just an amazing hire. He was an alumni. He played football. And all the Bama fans were like, we're just going to reload. And y'all win 8 games a year. It's just been a really long journey, man. And I'm with you, as probably all the Georgia fans are. I really think that we can do it this year. And it's not like the 2017 season where it was just like, man, I feel like it could happen. I feel like we could get there. This year, it's like, well, if we're not going to do it, we're never going to do it.
Right.
This year. I watched your video on Brian Kelly and Lincoln Riley. And when both those schools hired those coaches, I immediately thought, I've never been more jealous of anyone in my entire life than I am of Brian Kelly right now. Because he walked into a situation now where if you look at LSU's retention rate as far as the players that they get from Louisiana, as opposed to Georgia in the state of Georgia, Alabama in the state of Alabama, it's ridiculous. LSU's got like over a 90% retention rate, or they did that year when Joe Burrow and LSU went crazy. Because I remember they put that figure on the TV, and it was like a 90-something retention rate that LSU gets. And
I feel like Louisiana gets overlooked. Like the state of Louisiana, I feel like it gets overlooked when people talk about recruiting. Of course, they talk about Florida. They talk about, I'm talking about the states, not teams, but they talk about the state of Florida. They talk about the state of Georgia. You hear people talk about the state of Texas all the time. You hear people talk about Southern California all the time as these recruiting hotbeds, and they are. Louisiana's right up there with those. I mean, there's a ton of elite athletes coming out of Louisiana.
Exactly. And the only reason you don't really hear a lot about it is just because it's just a no-brainer that they're going to LSU, at least to the coaches who are people involved.
Yeah.
So it's not like Georgia State on Louisiana recruits. But, I am a little worried. I will admit I am a little worried about the future of recruiting a little bit for Georgia. Because we've got, Brock Bowers is from California.
Yeah.
And JT Daniels, even though he's not being utilized, is from California. Hell, he's from USC.
Right.
I did have a thought yesterday, because I've been watching Uncle Lou like I'm supposed to.
I think somebody's breaking into your house.
That,
I think there's somebody breaking into your house. You might want to go check.
Nah, it's just a dog across the street. He's a nut.
Oh.
But, sorry. But, I'll walk away from his ass right now. But, damn, I forgot what I was saying, man. I'm on a roll. Oh, yeah. Because I'm watching Uncle Lou like I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned that JT Daniels has one more year eligibility. He could possibly transfer to USC. I know that's a crazy thing, but I know Spencer Rattler's probably going there, but might be a little quarterback thing where Lincoln Riley can pull JT Daniels back if he really, really wanted him.
Yeah, I actually don't think Spencer Rattler's going there. Lincoln Riley.
You know what he reminds me of?
Benched him. I'm not convinced he's going to follow a coach that benched him out to Southern. Out to Southern Cal. I tell you, Lane Kiffin should have called him the minute he went in a portal.
Yeah, he definitely is a Lane Kiffin style QB. No kidding. But you know what reminds me of? He reminds me of Tate Martell. I don't know if you remember him. Tate Martell went to.
Oh yeah.
He was on last chance you, just like you, and went to Ohio State and went to Miami. I think he went somewhere else after that. He reminds me of that. Spencer Rattler does. I don't think he's ever gonna. I remember because Spencer Rattler was on damn Last Chance U, and I remember thinking, I don't ever think he's going to be like an amazing quarterback.
And you know what? He was a cocky, arrogant prick, just like Tate Martell was on that show.
Exactly.
On QB1 or whatever that show was called. Nobody liked Tate Martell on that show. Nobody liked Spencer Rattler on that show.
Yeah. No, see, Auburn had a quarterback. Auburn had a quarterback that eventually started. That was on that show too. Can't remember his name. But I think he played at least 1 year in the NFL as like a third string. But anyway, man, I just wanted to call in, let you know that, I love your content as well as the other like 40,000 subscribers or whatever you got do. Keep doing what you're doing. Obviously, you don't need to, hear me say that, but appreciate it. Go Dogs, man, and go fucking Dogs this Saturday when we inevitably beat Alabama. It's going to happen.
Yes, sir. I'm with you. Hey, thank you for the call. Thank you for the kind words, and I hope to hear back from you soon. Call back in. Call Uncle Lou. Yep, call-in shows are year-round, by the way. Thought I'd mention that real quick. They don't end when the games end. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hello?
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 Yes, it's me. Hey, hello. This is Natalie.
Hello? You there?
Yes, it's my turn.
Yes, you're on.
Okay.
Yes. Hello.
My name is Natalia Victoria. I'm an LSU fan, and I wish you the best for this coming battle with Alabama. My thoughts on your team is that you must be careful with this Alabama linebacker William Anderson.
Yeah, he's good, no doubt about it. Elite playmaker.
This guy ate our quarterback. He's very special on making sacks, and your quarterback suffers from it, huh?
No,
So
no. Our quarterback's only been sacked 6 times all year. Bryce Young was sacked 5 times last week. So no. So not sure where you read that at, but no, Georgia does not suffer with a sack problem.
I wish that you can contain this guy because it's really good.
Oh yeah.
My last question to you. Wouldn't you feel that Napier or Lincoln Riley was the better choice than Brian Kelly for LSU?
A proven Power 5 head coach who's taken his team to the playoffs multiple times is always going to be a better hire than a guy who's never coached a game in the Power 5. Now, that doesn't mean that Lincoln Riley is going to be better at Southern Cal than Napier is at Florida. You never know. I mean, these things are crapshoots. There are no guarantees when you make a coaching change, but I think you'd have to agree that any Power 5 coach that's been averaging 11 wins a year and taking his team to the playoffs 3 or 4 times, whatever it is, would be a better hire than a guy who's never coached a game in the Power 5. And I like the Billy Napier hire, so I'm not saying that to put Napier down. I think they're both good hires, but I think the Lincoln Riley hire is a better hire.
Okay. Well, the best of luck for you. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, good luck to the Corn Dogs as well, moving forward with Brian Kelly. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou, how you doing?
Man, I couldn't be doing any better.
That's cool. Hey, I am a big fan of you. I just discovered you. I'm way up here in Pennsylvania in the cold December cold.
Yeah.
That right tackle that sucks for Alabama, his name's Damian George.
Oh, okay.
And I tell you what, yeah, Georgia is going to destroy us. I have a buddy at work. My dad owns a business, electrical, and said, boy, I said, I think Georgia is going to be in halftime. I think it's going to be like a 26-0 game. But I think Alabama might get some light. But I think in the end it's going to be like 38-17. Georgia's so good. I respect the hell out of you guys.
I'm a huge college football fan. I'm like, man, I'm going to call into this guy because I saw the video of you and Clemson, and I'm just like, man, I love this guy. He's just awesome. So I thought I had to call into the show and just tell you that.
Well, hey, I appreciate that. Are you a Penn State fan?
Well, no, I like Pitt. I grew up in a big Penn State family. I actually became an Alabama fan before Saban did, before he was in there.
Oh, okay.
When they were terrible. Yeah. And I've always liked Kirby Smart. And, Alabama's been so dominant, and they're fun to watch. But I think their time's coming to an end, and I think it's your guys' time. I mean, Georgia's recruiting classes are crazy. I mean, I don't know if you look up rivals.com or not, but man, you guys got 6 5-stars next year. The year after that, you got 2 of them in your recruiting class. So I hope the best of luck for you guys.
Well, yeah, hey, I appreciate that. I mean, Kirby's done great recruiting-wise. Pretty good chance Georgia finishes with the number 1 class again this year. That would be 3 times in the last 5 years. And I'm not a genius, but one thing I know is that better players usually win over inferior players, and so the more good players you can have, the better. So I'm not a recruiting expert by any means, but I do think that recruiting is the single biggest part that you need to put together a winning program. I mean, you could take Nick Saban and his entire staff and give them Vanderbilt's roster, and they're not going to make a bowl game. And Nick Saban's the greatest coach of all time. You have to have the players. So I definitely agree with you there. Thank you for the kind words, and thank you for taking the time to call in. Glad you found the channel, and I hope you'll stick around. We have a lot of fun here year-round. Good morning, but you're on with Uncle Lou, though?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up?
Calling it from Canada, actually. Calling it from Canada. Been a subscriber for a while. I actually love the channel, man.
I appreciate it.
Not a Georgia guy, but
my dad was born up there.
I sort of. Oh, no way! Yeah. I'm actually calling from Western University in London, Ontario. But I was wondering. You think I just wanted to run a couple questions by it. I'm talking about. You think this is Dan Lanning's last year as a DC at Georgia?
It's very possible. It's going to depend on his opportunities. I don't think he won't take any job that's offered, but I think there are certain jobs he would take.
Yeah, and I was hoping. I'm an LSU guy, and I was hoping we'd be able to get the guys from Notre Dame. I mean, I'm looking around, and there's not a lot of names. I really like for the OC position. Like, to be honest, I think we could maybe get which OCs are out there. That, I mean, if you were an LSU guy that you'd look for.
Well, Mike Bobo's available as of about 2:00 this afternoon.
Please, no. I'd honestly rather keep Jake Keith at that point.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard enough. There's so many coaching vacancies, and the vacancies are happening so. I mean, college football has just changed so much. I mean, you got a lot of coaches that are getting ran out of town after 3 or 4 years. I mean, things just aren't like they used to be. But Bobby Bowden was at Florida State for 18 years before he won a national title. Those days are long gone at these big-time programs. And so there's so much turnover now that there's more, it seems like anyway, more openings than there are great coaches to fill them. It's like it's a problem, this turnover. So I don't know. As far as who the OC would be, I have no idea. I've got no clue.
Yeah, that's a good point. And, I know I think Georgia's going to win Saturday, but, the more I think about it, I kind of see Bama keeping it close. Like, I don't know. I mean, I've always thought Georgia's the best team in the country, and they are. I mean, but I just don't know about Stetson Bennett, man. Like, what do you think about how Georgia's offense is going to do Saturday?
If we're behind in the game in the second half with Stetson Bennett, I will be extremely worried. Extremely worried. Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm not here to bash Stetson Bennett anymore. My feelings are well known. Stetson good, JT better. If Stetson Bennett has to throw us to a win in the second half, I am not comfortable with that.
Yeah, because I mean, like, obviously y'all are gonna run the ball a ton, but like, just like the way Will Anderson's playing, I don't love Stetson Bennett in this game. I think the defense is George. I actually, this is my last question, because I've actually thought about this. How does this turn out? 2019 LSU offense versus this Georgia defense.
Yeah,
and I think I would. Man, I wish we could see that.
I do too. I tell you, I know the saying defense wins championships, and maybe to some degree, there's still a lot of truth to that. But I do believe that in today's college football, elite offenses are better than elite defenses. And we've seen periods of time like this before in college football, and it usually coincides with some type of new offense that has come around, and defenses haven't caught up to it yet. Like when the option got really popular in the 80s, defenses couldn't stop it. And then eventually defenses figured out how to stop it. They slowed it down, then they stopped it, and now nobody runs the option anymore. All this fun and gun and air raids and 5 wide receivers that you saw start cropping up in the 90s. All those teams were winning. Florida with the fun and gun. I mean, and then defenses figured that out, and zone reads came around. And then defenses had to try to figure that out. And now you're in the age of the RPOs and the spread offenses. And I think right now offenses have an advantage over defenses. Now, that's in general. It's not across the board. With Georgia's defense, you're not looking at what is typically the best defense in any given year or whatever. This is a historically great defense. You're talking about giving up 6 points per game over the course of a season in an age in college football where everyone is scoring 40 points a game. And Georgia's given up 6.5 points per game average over the course of a 12-game season. That's not just this year's best defense. That's a historically great. Not saying it's the best ever. I'm just saying that's great beyond what is normally the best defense in any given year. People still talk about the 2011 Alabama defense, and it was amazing. They gave up 12 points a game. Okay, Georgia is giving up half of that. So Alabama's defense this year has played pretty well. They're giving up 20 points per game. So to give up 6 points per game might be enough to overcome, Stetson Bennett not being able to throw for 400 yards, which is typically what you've had to have to win a national title in the last 6 to 7 years.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. And, I appreciate taking the call. Good luck to you guys. Being an LSU guy, these perfect seasons don't come along that often. I'm still reminiscent about 2019. But, I appreciate the call. Love the channel, man. Best of luck Saturday.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for taking the time to call. And, I hope you'll stick around. Like I said a few minutes ago, we have a lot of fun here year-round, too. So I do this show every Tuesday and Thursday night year-round. I upload videos, college football videos every day year-round. We keep it going 365 days a year here. There is no off season here. There's just a part of the season where there's no games to watch. So I hope all of you will stick around. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. There's over 300 of you in here and 133 thumbs up. We ought to be able to get it to 175 at least, shouldn't we? I don't feel like that's asking too much. 175 thumbs up. I think that would be fair. Let's get the thumbs up to 175. Thanks, accept me. Hayden Williamson, thank you for hitting the super chat though, and also in addition to that as well. He says, how many more schools Zach Evans going to transfer to? That's a great question. I mean, technically this is his first transfer, right? All the other flip-flopping he did was while he was a recruit, a senior in high school. He was committed to this school and that school and the other school, and then actually signed with Georgia, but then Georgia let him out of the commitment. He appears to be a mess. He appears to be a mess to me.
No, lady, how about you shut the up? I'm doing LouTube, bitch.
Yeah. Will Jones, thank you for hitting the super chat tonight and helping support the show. That's very generous for you, sir. I really, really appreciate that. He says, love you, Lou. Been watching for years. 15-0. Thank you. And 15-0. I'm getting more and more confident by the day. I'm like you older Georgia fans will remember Larry Munson, and I love Larry Munson. I'm biased, clearly, but I think he's the greatest I think he's the greatest play-by-play guy in the history of college football. I know everybody feels that way about their team's favorite, announcer, but Larry Munson was notoriously pessimistic all the time. He was known for that, and I'm kind of that way too. I seem to be always waiting on something bad to happen, and I wish I wasn't that way, but I've always been that way when it comes to being a Georgia fan. So I'm getting more and more confident as every day goes by, though. Thank you, Will. Will Nance, thank you. He says, I can't wait to see Will Anderson trying to cover Brock Bowers. He's a matchup nightmare. I think Brock is the X factor for UJ this game. Go Dogs. I don't think you're going to see. Will Anderson doesn't. I mean, does he even cover receivers? I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. That's not going to work out well for Will Anderson. I mean, Will Anderson needs to be rushing the passer, not covering Brock Bowers, in my opinion, which is very important. My opinion, I mean. And I think very highly of it as well. I think very highly of my opinion. There's something wrong with me. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Lou, how's it going?
Going good, man. Is this a good time for you?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah, man. This is my bad, man. This is Derek, man, just calling in, and I'll tell you right now, man. I wish nothing but pain on Bama. Remember when was it Rocky 3?
Yes.
And they asked Clover Lane, "What's your prediction?"
Yeah. Pain.
Pain. Man, Lou, I wish nothing but pain on Bama. I wish pain on the team physically. I wish pain on Saban as he gets ready to sail. My wishes as he gets ready to sail into the sunset of his coaching days. I wish pain on their fans as they take this L and realize that the days of glory have come to an end. Lou,
Hold on 1 second. I got something. I'm gonna play something for you real quick. Hold on, listen to this.
Okay, yeah, do your thing, bro. Do your thing.
Yes, prediction.
Pain.
What's your...
My brother from another. You know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
You know where I'm coming from with this, man. I'm not one of those Georgia fans that's just gonna sit back. Oh, and I hope and I wish, and I'm scared, and I'm spending the entire week in dread and just oh my God, I hope. No. I'm telling you right now, I wish nothing but pain. I want it to be so bad. I want it to be where the referees, the officials, think to themselves, if we start the types of calls that we made in 2017 in the national championship game, that they're going to be on to us. We can't help you, Nick, in this one.
Yeah.
Only thing can help you at this point is the Lord Almighty. That's what I want. Georgia comes out and plays its game. Forget about trying to match Alabama. Forget about the moment. Forget about the next phase of getting into the playoffs. No. Come out and play the game that we have played all year. Where the only consideration, Lou, is our standard. Georgia comes out and does that, and it will be pain. It will be a demolition. Anything else, we're going to let those rascals stick around. But if Georgia comes out and plays up to its standards, it will be exactly what it's been all year. An average of Georgia beating its opponent by 17 points or more. What say you, Luke?
I can't argue with anything you said. I think it's I think it's more likely that Georgia wins this game by 17-20 than it is that Alabama wins the game by 1. Now, I don't necessarily think either of those things will happen. I think Georgia probably wins in the 10 to 14 point range, but I think it's more likely Georgia would win by 20 than Bama wins at all. I just think Georgia is clearly the better team, and this particular year, I just think Georgia's better. What that means for next year or years after that, it's not the point. But this year, I just think Georgia's a better team, and generally speaking in college football, the better team wins the game. Hey, thank you for the call. It was good to hear from you. I can't remember if I mentioned this earlier on this show or it was on the video I uploaded, but in the playoff era, there's been 25 conference championship games that have where one team was favored by 5 or more, and the favored team is 24-1 in those 5 games. So you don't see a lot of upsets in conference championship games during the playoff era when the spread is 5 or more. Very rare. Very rare. All right, we're going to get right back to the phone lines here in just a second. Uncle Lou's got to take like a 2-minute break. But here. Okay, now, Lord knows nobody, and I mean nobody, likes making fun of Notre Dame more than I do for a lot of the obvious reasons. I don't understand the number of people right now running around the internet pointing and laughing at LSU hiring away Brian Kelly from Notre Dame as if it's some kind of a bad or even terrible hire. I don't get it at all. Whatever we think about Notre Dame and the jokes that we make and all this kind of stuff, how many coaches have been winning 10, 11 games a year for a decade plus? I mean, Notre Dame, and I know they won't join a conference. Look at the schedule. They play the service academy. They handpick their schedule. I know all that. They don't have to play a 13th game. I know. But I've spent years talking about all that stuff. Brian Kelly is not a bad head coach, okay? And at a place like LSU, a more talent-rich state than Notre Dame is, and you say, well, Notre Dame recruits nationally. Everybody recruits nationally. He's not going to have some of the recruiting restrictions at LSU that he had at Notre Dame, and I'm not saying that to use that as an excuse for Notre Dame as to why they get blown out or whatever. Believe me, I know all that, but they're just pointing and laughing as if this is some kind of a bad hire. If you're telling me, are you telling me that if you're a Florida fan, you would take Billy Napier over Brian Kelly? If you say that, then you're only saying that because you're a Florida fan. I mean, and I think Billy Napier is a good hire. I already talked about that, so that's not an insult towards Napier. This is a great hire for LSU. Now, just like with Napier, just like with any... Uncle Lou back for you. Sorry about that. Let's get right back to the phone calls, though. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Luke.
Hey, what's up?
I got 2 questions.
All right.
So, first of all, do you think Georgia has the playoffs in lock?
Yes, Yes, they're good. Yeah, they could lose and still get in. Yeah.
Okay. My second question is about the future for our quarterbacks. Could you see Carson Beck with the transfer and then us progressing Brock Vandagriff to be an elite QB to lead us, maybe in his junior, senior year to a championship?
I think Carson and JT Daniels are both transferring. I think Stetson is starting next year.
Okay.
And so next year we'll have Stetson, Carson, and Gunnar. Next year we will have Stetson, Brock, and Gunnar Stockton. That's what I think will happen.
When I look at Stetson, I mean, wow. It's his team right now, and I hate to see us not utilizing JT because I know JT is just he's there and he could help us and win those championships at a comfortable level. I mean, along with the defense that we possess, I mean, it's hard to just look at what JT has accomplished, last year and what little he's played this year.
I mean, the thing is, it's their last year of eligibility. So if Stetson, now I do think it's possible if Georgia wins the national title that Stetson rides off into the sunset. I do think that's possible, but he's got another year of eligibility. So if he wants to come back, he can come back. I don't see any way possible JT Daniels can take a chance on coming back if Stetson comes back. I don't blame JT either. If Stetson comes back, I think JT Daniels has got to transfer away because it's pretty clear he's not going to play here behind Stetson for whatever reasons, and I don't even want to debate that anymore. But so I think it's pretty clear he'll leave. And I also think Carson Beck is leaving because he's kind of stuck in the middle there. I don't know. It feels like he's kind of stuck. And he's not going to start over Stetson. He's not going to start over JT. There's some debate about whether he could even start over Brock. And then you got Gunner coming in. So I just feel like Carson might be the odd man out there.
I totally agree. When I watch Carson Beck, I don't know. Carson Beck just doesn't fit for Georgia, in my opinion.
We'll see. He's not as mobile as either Brock or Gunner, so he's got that going against him too. So, but he was he was Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Florida. So he's not a dud. He's got some talent. He just needs to land somewhere where he's going to get to show it, and that's going to be UGA. Thank you for the call. Good morning, though, but you're on with Uncle Lou, though.
Hey, Uncle Lou, it's Magnum. Look here, these gump fucks. Yeah, oh my God, look here. These gump fucks, they need a reality check. They're sitting here talking about Bryce Young this and Williams and Mechie, fine. But you know what? This has to be the biggest goddamn mismatch I've ever fucking seen when it comes to a defensive line versus an offensive line. Look, Jordan Davis is going to bend Bryce Young the fuck over and take a walk up his Strata Chocolata. Man, look, if they think what Auburn did to them was bad, Georgia's front seven is going to fucking annihilate them. I don't care what any Bama fan says. Look, the offenses have changed over the years, but one thing remains the same. The game is won in the fucking trenches, dude. And we've had our differences, but I think me and you are on the same page when it comes to this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, Kirby said basically said that the day he was hired. He was like, the first thing we got to do here is get an offensive and a defensive line. This is what's here now is not acceptable. So, I mean, clearly you got to have skill players and stuff like that too. But yeah, starts with the offensive and defensive line. And all these people, but Bryce Young's better than Stetson Bennett. Okay, great. Stetson Bennett doesn't play defense.
Yeah, I even
Stetson
said
Bennett
that
doesn't play
my
defense. Stetson Bennett
earlier.
is not going to be the one chasing Bryce Young around. Stetson Bennett is not covering Jamison Williams or Mechie. So that's great that Bryce Young is better than Stetson Bennett, but I don't really understand what people think that means for this game because, in my opinion, it doesn't mean anything at all.
Well, I mean, I said the same thing in my live earlier. I said, look, Bryce Young, he's had a great freshman campaign. I think he's a star. He is better than Stetson Bennett. I clearly said that. But, if you don't have 2.5, 3 seconds to throw the ball, it don't matter the skill players you got. I mean, goddamn, if you got a defensive player in your face the moment you snap the ball, I mean, you're going to have a long-ass night. And one of the things that I think we should do, I mean, yes, Bama has an excellent run defense. I think everybody knows that. If I was Monken, dude, I would come out and, I would probably have Stetson throw a couple short intermediate passes, try to open up the run game. I mean, if we come out and run the first couple plays up the middle, I'm going to be pissed off right off the bat because we're immediately running into the strength of Alabama's defense. Man, I want to see mismatches. I want to see James Cook lined up and get matched up on a linebacker. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. Like, okay, great. You shut down Georgia's running game. But then what are you going to do if James Cook has 60 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns or something through the air? I mean, the guy's a problem. He can line up at slot. He can line up at wide receiver, or he can line up in the backfield and motion out. And that's a huge problem. Brock Bowers is a matchup problem. George Pickens on one side and 3 tight ends on the other. Good luck. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know if I've ever seen that before. But I saw it Saturday. I saw George Pickens on one side, and on the other side, I saw Brock Bowers, Darnell Washington, John Fitzpatrick, and I don't know what a team is supposed to do with that.
Well, I do got one more question for you, and it's about Pickens. You know, I was glad to see him at least get in the game. You know, he got hit low, and he seemed to get up fine. So I think his knee is okay. So my question is, do you think Kirby was just like, you know, wanting to get him in the game, get him going, and he may have held him back, not wanting to show a lot of stuff? Do you think maybe he's going to unleash him against Alabama? Because I was thinking that, but I don't know if it's just me or is anybody else thinking about that.
I'm hopeful, obviously, that would happen, because as much as I like the other wide receivers, even Ladd McConkey has had a great year, but George Pickens is like people can debate and argue Stetson versus JT. Fine. There ain't a person alive that thinks George Pickens isn't the best wide receiver on this team. So it's a big deal to have him back. Yeah. But if you look at the way other injured players have come back, I would be shocked if George Pickens had some huge game this Saturday. I mean, Kearis Jackson was returning punts and basically a wide receiver decoy for the first 4 games he was back before he was ever allowed to run a route. And it's been the same situation with some other players. And Kirby has even said it before, just because a guy's cleared to play doesn't mean he's ready to play. He's got to get back up to game speed. He's got to get mental confidence back and things like that. But then I hear other reports that say George Pickens is in practice making one-handed jumping 360 catches, circus catches. He's the Harlem Globetrotters of wide receivers. So I really don't know. I wouldn't bet on George Pickens having some kind of like 8 reception, 170-yard game. I wouldn't bet on that, but I'd be pleasantly surprised if I don't see why we can't use him in a red zone situation. Throw the ball up to him. I mean,
or hell, maybe not even just throw him the ball. Maybe just send him on a few go routes. Just show the defense that, you know, we're willing to use him like that.
Yeah, I think he makes a difference just by being on the field. Look how good of a year Kearis Jackson had last year. That's not because suddenly Kearis Jackson became A.J. Green. It's because there was 2 people on George Pickens, and everyone's attention was on George Pickens. And so Kearis Jackson had the best year he's ever had. Because Kearis Jackson's a great option at number 2. Maybe he's not a true elite wide receiver 1, but he was a hell of a wide receiver 2 while everybody was busy looking at George Pickens.
Yeah, I'll agree. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you taking my call, dude, and I'll be commenting.
All right, buddy. Good to hear from you. Hope you've been doing well. Sure you are. Good morning, but you're on with Uncle Lou, though.
Hey, good morning, Lou.
Yes, good morning.
Man, I hate to wish days away. The Saturday afternoon cannot get here fast enough.
I hear you. Really? Seems like the season just started, but shit, now we're coming up to the end here.
No, man, you know, what you said about Pickens, you know, I've been saying, you know, up to this is, you know, even if Pickens doesn't catch a pass on Saturday, Alabama doesn't know what kind of shape he is in. But when he's in the game, Alabama has got to account for him.
Yeah.
And like you just said, if Pickens is in the game, they have got to respect him, period. They don't know if he's 110%.
Right.
And it's just going to fly down the field. But you got to account for him. And what are you going to do? And I'm sure that, you know, Alabama's on a stupid team, but it's going to create some interesting questions for Alabama's defense. If you got Pickens on the field, you got Darnell, you got Brock, Jermaine Burton, whoever else. He's a difference maker just by his presence alone. And if they don't get, you know, like, oh, okay, yeah, he's just in there as a distraction, that's what cut loose and you don't pay for it.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know how close to the old George Pickens he is, but I know this. He looked fine. He was running. He was blocking. Yeah. He made a catch. He got hit low. He was doing, you know, he looked fine. It wasn't like last year when Alabama, you remember when Alabama put Jalen Waddle in the game in the national title game last year?
I think so. Yeah.
That's one of the most criminal things I've ever seen done on a football field. The guy, did you watch the Iron Bowl this year? Alabama Auburn.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. TJ Finley.
Right.
TJ Finley could hardly move. That quarterback for Auburn. That's what Jalen Waddle. That's what Jalen Waddle looked like in the national title game. So at least George Pickens isn't that. He's not clearly out there hobbling around. Like, he looks fine. So, like you said, decoy or not, I think Saban and Alabama have got to take him seriously.
Right, absolutely, and again, that Alabama game last year, I didn't even realize Waddle had even stepped in the game. But like you said, with TJ Finley, I mean, he's out there on at least one crutch, if not two.
Right.
And from all the reports, coming in from different people that are watching practices, who knows if he's, if it's just riding fodder or what. But he does look healthy, and I think that just with the athlete that he is, I don't think if he wasn't 100%, and again, you got to knock the rust off. He hasn't played all year.
Yeah.
But I think that's a huge factor for Georgia's offense to at least have him on the field.
Yeah.
Because if they don't account for
I'll
him,
say
and
this
he,
too.
yeah.
I'm 50-50 on whether or not we'll see a lot of George Pickens on Saturday or hardly any. I feel like it could maybe go either way. But the playoffs are a month away. The playoffs are a month away. So I think there's a very good chance that in the playoffs you see last year's George Pickens. Like, I think there's a very good chance that in 4 weeks from now he could be a monster, even if he's not this Saturday. He could be. He could be this Saturday. I don't know. I'm 50-50 on it. But I'm convinced in the playoffs he's going to go wild.
I agree, and kind of like you, I'm optimistic that he's going to be a big play guy. Like, he's just going to be blowing it up because he's just been out for so long. And if I had to make just kind of just an observation, again, like I hate to keep being repetitive, but him being on the field, maybe it's a big difference, maybe it's a small difference. But like you said, Alabama's got to account for him.
Yeah. And he doesn't just want to get drafted. He wants to get drafted in the first round. And while I think it's possible he could have sat out the whole year and then showed up at the combine and put on a crazy show, that he still would have got drafted in the first round. If he goes out in the playoffs and balls out, he's a guaranteed first-round pick at that point. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. And then the other thing that Alabama, again, I don't take anything away from them. They haven't been to Alabama in the past, but nobody on this earth that is watching or paying attention to football can discount. This has got to be one of the most historic defenses in the country, bottom line, ever. And what we saw Auburn do to Bryce Young, and again, Bryce Young's a great quarterback, but I just, especially on that right side, if Alabama compensates for that right side, then the other side's vulnerable. That's Alabama, I think, a big problem for them going into this game.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, thank you for the call. All good points. Yeah, go Dogs in that, though, also, and two in addition to that as well. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
What's up, Lou? Big Lee.
Hey, what's up, Lee? Good to hear from you, buddy.
Yeah, man, it's been a while.
Yeah, I ain't seen you around.
Yeah, well, I've been around. Just anyway, you talked about this Tuesday night, and the first time I've heard you talk about it, but this Georgia team is probably the most focused, leadered team I've ever seen Georgia have on both sides of the ball. From Jordan Davis, Devontae White, the Zeus coming back, all that. Like, they don't, nothing bothers them. You know, going to Knoxville, being down at one point, you know, nothing like that bothers them. And I think nobody scares them. They don't care who's in their way.
Yeah.
They don't walk into the SEC championship game, and they don't care who's there. They don't care who's inside the ball. They don't care what name on the helmet. They care about that G.
Yeah,
and that's all they care
about being focused and all that. I'm not trying to say that this is why we beat Georgia Tech or anything like that, but 0 penalties is rare in any game ever. But you're playing Georgia Tech. You're up 40 points in the second half. You're celebrating on the sidelines. You're beating the bejesus out of your in-state rival. It would be real easy to slip up and have a false start, an offsides, a delay a game, a too many men on the field penalty, something. Not a single penalty against Georgia Tech. And like I said, I know that's not some kind of like eye-popping stat or something, but I think it shows how focused this team is, regardless, like you said, of who they're playing, what the score is, what the down and distance is. It doesn't matter. They go out there and they play the best they can for one play, and then they do it again on the next play.
Especially when you're rotating players as early as we have,
right?
And especially in that game, in the second quarter, there was third stringers in there. I mean, third stringers ain't nothing no more, like you say, starters and all, but still, players usually don't fit to the fourth quarter in the second quarter, third quarter already. There's no penalties. But this team just loves each other. Like a video, Nolan Smith go around and congratulate the offensive line, and it's on both sides of the ball. I ain't never seen this at Georgia. 17 was the closest I've seen, but this is a whole nother level. I mean, I don't get down by all the quarterback crap. I'm ride or die with Stetson. Well, it is what it is. But I love this year. I'm taking this year for everything it's worth. Because 17, this year, we might not ever say it again. I don't know. I thought 17 year was the best thing ever happened to me, but this year I'm just taking it for what it is. I ain't worried about next year. I'm worried about this year. I think that's what the team mentality is. They don't care about Alabama. They worry about the SEC championship. They want to win that game. But they're more important. They're worried about the national title. And that's the goal of this team. And they don't care. Another thing, you know who the biggest winner is on Saturday night? Come by 8 o'clock?
Yes, me.
The biggest winner.
Me.
No, you and NASCAR.
Oh, NASCAR. Yeah, their ratings are going to get a huge boost. Yeah, NASCAR ratings be through the roof again now. Oh, my God. Yeah, you're right about that.
NASCAR apparel is just going to, the damn website's going to get shut down for all of them trying to buy Dale Jr. jerseys and jackets again. But I'll let you go, man. 35-13. Dogs on top. Go Dogs.
Sounds good to me. Good to hear from you, Lee. Thank you for the call, buddy. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Uncle Lou, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Chris from California. How are you, buddy?
Doing great.
Good. Yeah, you know what? I'll talk about our defense. People don't realize it. You know what the most underrated Georgia defense is, at least in the past 20 years?
The most underrated Georgia defense of the last 20 years. 02 with David Pollock in them?
A good guess. I was going to say 2019.
Oh, now, 2019. Okay.
The reason well, listen to this. So this year, I think we've given up the defense, I believe, has given up 8 touchdowns. Okay. That year in 2019, when no one talks about, they let up 12 touchdowns on defense, average 1 per game. I mean, our offense that year was scoring like 21 points, and we won 11-1.
Yeah, that was Fromm's worst year. Yeah, that was Fromm's worst year. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my point. So someone asked earlier, like, who would win this year's defense versus that year's LSU offense? And you know what? The 2019 defense was down 17-3 late in the third quarter. What that tells you is not only did they hold the best offense, ever to 17 points late in the third, they did it when their offense, they couldn't score. They scored 3 points.
Right. They're
on the field the whole game. So I actually think that defense got so kind of, they were just done poorly by their offense. Like they're forgotten. Yeah. As good as they might be as good as this defense. Imagine if the offense scored every game.
Right. Yeah, I actually didn't know that about the 2019. That is an interesting. I didn't realize that 12 touchdowns. That's good. That's good.
I always thought.
The loss, the 11-1, the loss. We didn't give up a touchdown.
No,
not on defense. Yeah, not on defense. It was a pick six, and a couple of field goals. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. So, anyway, last thing. Listen, I've always said I will believe Georgia can beat Bama when Georgia beats Bama. Everyone's very comfortable this year. I understand why. I'm not that comfortable. I think we're going to win. And you know what? I think it's kind of like what you're saying. If we win, I think we win by a couple scores. But I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia lost. And you know what? I'm not comfortable with where things are in the playoffs, that we definitely get in even if we lose.
After what I saw last year with Notre Dame, I'm confident that Georgia would get in. And if they didn't, they should just blow up the entire committee.
Yeah. Well, listen, just think about this. Stetson was
Stetson cannot have that type of a game in the first half against Bama. You can't, because we'll be down a couple of touchdowns against Bama if our offense plays in the first half like they played against Florida. Now, I'd be more concerned if we had done that multiple times this year, rather than just that
some games
kind
he
of
throws it
outlier
11
game.
times.
Oh, I know. Believe me. But
Like,
trust me.
It's hard to have a bad game.
I know. I get it. I
Anyway,
hope Stetson doesn't have to throw the ball more than 20 times. I'm hoping Stetson's something like 13 of 19. That's what I hope. If you were to tell me on Sunday morning that Stetson Bennett was 13 of 19 with 2 touchdowns and 210 yards, I'd say we probably win the game.
Yeah, if we can run the ball, we win. That's it.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Right. All right, buddy. Thank you for the call.
Cool,
Good to hear
man.
from
Thanks
you.
for taking my
Great
call.
point too with the Florida against first half thing. That's a scenario where Bama could win the game for sure. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou. How's it going?
I was going great.
I just wanted just a couple points. Starting off, I just want to say I've been a long-time viewer, and you actually encouraged me to start a sports podcast with a few of my buddies in college.
Oh, good for you, man.
So thank you for that. But number two, I just want to mention, as an Alabama fan, I believe that Alabama players, coaches, and fans love being the underdog. I kind of feel like they love that sense of, oh, well, it's not going to happen this year. Now, as a longtime Alabama fan, this is one of the worst teams that I've seen in recent memory as far as especially the running game. It's just absolutely abysmal. But I do think that this team will be able to rise to the occasion. I think it's shaping up to be one of the greatest Alabama-Georgia matchups ever, even better than 2017. Now, I know that's a hot take for a different day, but I do believe that it is shaping up to be a fantastic game.
I mean, you could be right. I think everybody feels like Georgia's the better team, but I mean, this is why we play the games, and that is Nick Saban roaming the sidelines over there. It's not just some really good coach. I mean, it's Nick Saban.
Right.
So we'll see, but it just feels like there's too many things in Georgia's favor. You mentioned the running game. One of the ways, really the only, if you're going to have success against an elite defense, you cannot be one-dimensional.
Nope.
And it's just, Alabama wasn't that good at running the ball when they were healthy at running back. Brian Robinson's probably not going to play in this game. Trey Sanders has been injured more than he's been healthy, and he's your only scholarship running back that's available for this game. It's just, there's a lot of things where you go, well, this doesn't look good for Bama. This doesn't look good for Bama. This doesn't look good for Bama. And really the only explanation or reasoning that anybody can make that Alabama might win the game is, well, they're Alabama. Outside of that, there's not a whole lot you can point to.
You're exactly right, but I see a lot of analysts and whatnot not talking that much about the Alabama defense besides Will Anderson, for good reason. I mean, I believe that he is, he'll probably finish, if the Heisman was to go out, 10, 15 spots, he would definitely probably finish top 7, I would say.
Yeah. I think so.
But Alabama's defense statistically is ranked 7th in the country. I just don't hear a lot of people talking about that.
Yeah.
And that's something that all they talk about is how, okay, their offense is very, very explosive. If you can stop Bryce Young and Jameson Williams, then what do they have? Well, the defense is still relatively good compared to college football.
No, that's true.
And
I think one of the reasons you don't hear is because
that.
not only does Georgia have the best defense in college football this year, it's historically great. So, like any random, you mentioned analysts, any random analyst, let's say they spend an hour over the course of a month talking about defense, 50 of those minutes are going to be spent talking about Georgia. Because it's so historically good. So I think that's why maybe you don't hear a lot of people talking about Bama's defense, because although Bama's defense is good for this particular year in college football, Georgia's defense is kind of sucking all the oxygen out of the room in terms of defensive conversation.
Right. You may be 100% accurate about that, and I believe that you are. But that's just something in my mind that needs to be talked about a little bit more. But anyways, I'll let you go, Lou. I appreciate the time. And 2 things, Roll Tide and 2nd and 26.
Yeah, whoa, Todd. Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for one more reminder about 2nd and 26. I'd almost forgot. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hello?
Hello?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah. Is this Uncle? Hey, thanks for taking my call. Like the show a lot. I just got a quick question. You're obviously an SEC guy, a Georgia guy. If you could put a grade on the strength of the conference this year, I would be interested in your analysis and if you're worried about any of the non-SEC teams you might see in the playoffs.
Okay. Now
I'll keep it short and sweet.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for the call. I'll hang up and answer that off the phone. If you mean like the strength of the SEC relative to other conferences this year, I think the SEC and the Big Ten are very close, extremely close, and I think you could make an argument that the Big Ten is the best conference this particular year, if that's what you were asking about the strength of the SEC. I think the strength of the SEC overall, in terms of pretty much any time span you want to look at going back 5, 10, 15, or 20 years, still think the SEC has been the best conference overall this century, basically. And I think it's positioned to be the best conference for the next 20. That doesn't mean the SEC will be the best conference every single year for the next 20 years. I mean, if you could fast forward to 2041, I would bet that we're sitting around going, well, over the last 20 years, the SEC was probably the best conference. When you look at the additions of Oklahoma and Texas, when you look at the way the college football landscape is now and where it looks like it's headed, I still think the SEC is better positioned than any other conference to remain as what most people consider the best conference in football. But this year's Big Ten was really, really good, especially the East, with Penn State, Michigan State, Ohio State. I mean, there was a time when all 4 of those teams were ranked in the top 10. So I hope that answers the question for you. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hello, Luke. Thanks for taking my call. Huge fan of yours, first time caller.
Thank you.
I'm just calling you to ask you about what you think of Notre Dame's new hire at head football coach. You probably heard this. They're most likely going to hire Marcus Freeman as the defensive coordinator, and I couldn't be more excited about this move. As a Notre Dame fan, I think this is great.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about Marcus Freeman, but I do know that this was a very popular pick, if this is the way it goes, in the locker room, in terms of current Notre Dame players, Notre Dame recruits, everyone that I have heard talk about Marcus Freeman, as far as national guys that keep tabs on that kind of stuff more than I do, I haven't heard anybody suggest that this is a bad move.
I think it's a great move, and I couldn't be more excited about the future of this program. And his first game could be a playoff game, as crazy as that sounds, because as you probably know, if certain things happen this Saturday, Notre Dame is most likely in the playoffs.
Yeah, they really only need one upset to have a chance to get in. I mean, well, as long as the one upset isn't Bama over Georgia. But if either Cincinnati, Michigan, or Oklahoma State lose, Notre Dame is probably the next team in line.
Yeah, I agree. I hope that's how it plays out. And do you think if Bama loses, even by a little, do you think they're out no matter what? No matter,
Yes.
If they lose by a field goal or by a blowout?
I think Bama's out no matter what, unless all three of those teams I just mentioned lose.
That would be total chaos.
Right. And then who knows what would happen. Because at that point you'd have multiple 2-loss teams. So you couldn't rule Alabama out just on the basis of being a 2-loss team at that point. You'd have to consider them against a 2-loss Oklahoma State, a 2-loss Michigan, a 1-loss Cincinnati. But the odds of that happening are very, 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 very low. The odds of any of those one teams losing is low. So the odds of all three of them losing are infinitely lower. So I don't expect that to happen, but of course it's a possibility.
Yes, you're most likely right. And have you also heard about Brian Kelly? He wanted to take several assistants with him from Notre Dame to LSU, and they all said no. We'll pass on that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons Notre Dame is looking to move so quickly on Marcus Freeman, because I think Marcus Freeman was on the top of Brian Kelly's list to take to LSU. And I think the only way for Notre Dame to keep Marcus Freeman even another week is to make him head coach, because if not, he's going to leave.
Yep, I couldn't be more happy about this. I was, like all Notre Dame fans, that we were kind of just in a state of shock on Monday night, and it appears to have worked out for the best.
Yep, it's time to wake up the echoes. It's time to dust off the Golden Dome. Time to kiss the feet of the Rudy statue, and time for Touchdown Jesus to denounce Islam and come back to Catholicism. I think the stars are aligned. Thank you for your call, sir. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Yeah, Uncle, it's me, Justin. How you doing?
Doing great, Justin. How are you?
Doing good. Yeah, good. I got 2 questions to ask you.
All right, I'll try to answer them.
Okay. Yeah, good. I picked Georgia Fish 3-0. Yeah, I picked South Carolina Fish 6-6. What do you thought about that?
You picked Georgia and who else?
South Carolina.
You picked Georgia and South Carolina?
Yeah, I picked Georgia. I picked South Carolina Fish.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, good. I picked Georgia. Hello?
Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money!
You lost me when you said you picked
there.
South Carolina. I can't even concentrate or take you serious at this point.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, what do you mean you picked South Carolina? You picked them for what?
I picked South Carolina Fish 6-6.
Oh, you picked South Carolina to finish 6-6.
Yes.
Oh, well, so did everyone else.
Yep, that's what I did.
Yeah. You sound like you sound like a pretty smart individual to me. Thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Lulu.
Yes, sir.
It's Chad from Oxford, Alabama again, bud. How's it going?
Hey, Chad. What's up, buddy? I'm going good.
I'm pretty good, man. I just called you the other day, but listen, there's a couple more points I want to bring out to you.
All right.
Because you are the wise Lou from Augusta, apparently, right?
That's a fact.
Check it out. Are you ready? All right.
I'm as ready as I
First of all, man, how's it going? Give me that.
It's going great. Yeah, good morning.
Georgia ready. You're ready for Saturday, are you? You're not kidding around, are you?
Oh, yeah. No, we're
Got
good,
it all
good to go.
tucked. Are you ready to say roll tide?
Yeah, you want to say, whoa, Tide on that?
Whoa, tide.
Whoa, Tide, whoa, Tide, woo.
There you go, Larry. That's what I'm talking
Whoa, Tide, woo.
Few factors I didn't bring up last conversation because I was a little starstruck. You took my call. But here I go. I'm going to settle in, get the old famous Lou out of the way, get back down to basic friend thing. All right.
Yeah, I'm just a regular idiot like anybody else.
You do your thing, though, Lou.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough brown nosing. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Alabama is going to show you guys something Saturday. They have multiple pass routes. O'Brien's a very good NFL coach. I think they're going to let it fly, Lou. And it's actually going to be something that Georgia is going to have to contend with. Even though the front sevens, they can play in the NFL, they can actually probably sack a lot of NFL quarterbacks. Get by them, Lou, and it's dangerous territory. And they've been burned a couple of times. And it gives me faith that if O'Brien and that pitiful offensive line that we have, if they could just hold up, maybe stick a running back in there, fill the gaps, maybe quadruple team Jordan Davis. No, all seriousness, Alabama can burn deep. You know what I mean? I think they can. Can I get at least an optimistic answer from you, Lou? Would that be too much to ask? Yeah, Alabama can expose us deep.
I don't think there's any reason for Alabama fans to be optimistic other than Nick Saban and the fact that it's Alabama. There's really nothing to point to. You keep talking about Bill O'Brien. Yeah. I'm assuming this is the same Bill O'Brien that 90% of Alabama fans want fired yesterday. Well,
the day before, actually.
Yeah. So finding a running back to fill the gap. No. Now, as far as Bama coming out and slinging it around, I think you're right. But I think Kirby knows that. I mean, Bama can't run the ball with healthy running backs or against average defenses. They're definitely not running the ball this week against Georgia.
I mean,
I expect 40-plus pass attempts.
We've had terrible luck in the running back category. I mean, the depletion of our running backs is horrible. You know
the Trey Sanders situation is sad, too. I loved Trey Sanders coming out of high school. I wanted him at Georgia.
Man, he's a good back.
But he
had
the ACL, and then he had the car wreck, and it's just one thing after another. It's a sad situation with him. I've always liked him, but the reality is Alabama's not running the ball on Georgia. I mean, that's not happening. So I expect Bryce Young to have 40-plus pass attempts.
Stevie Wonder could tell you that. You know?
Yeah.
But what I'm going to tell you, though, and I'll leave you, and I know you've got other callers, man, but this is it. As a true, definitely diehard fan, man, I tell you what, if they do win Alabama, I mean, I want you to get on there proud like you do every year. You know, it's a hard-fought game. If Georgia wins, well, then you're going to be like, well, of course, man. I mean, why not? But the fun about this is what I really appreciate, Lou, is we have been at the status to where everyone targets Alabama, everybody. And you're probably going to experience this over the next 5 or 6 years. It's different when the monkey's on your back, man. When everybody targets you.
I buy that. I buy that.
Mean,
look, all these teams, how many teams schedule their bye week now before Alabama? Something like half of Alabama's schedule. The team that they play had a bye week going in. Yeah. I mean, there's some truth to what you're saying. Yes, there is some truth to what you're saying.
I mean,
Alabama gets everybody's best effort every week. You're 100% right about that. Yeah, you are right about that.
And guess what? Georgia's right there. And once they take the king off, I'm not saying they will, Lou, but if you guys take the throne, I think if y'all do beat Alabama this year in the SEC championship game, there's no stopping y'all. I mean, because that will get the psychological edge off those kids.
Yeah.
However, if Alabama wins, Georgia's probably going to get round 2.
This does feel like
all
2012.
the Alabama fans listening.
This does feel like 2012. This does feel like 2012 to me, where the SEC title game is really the national title game. I don't think there's anybody else that can beat Georgia or Bama. I really don't. Not of the teams that are left. I don't.
Well, this is what I'm going to leave you with, Lou. And I'm not brown. I mean, I'm just being real, and I done told you my status 19,000 times.
Yeah.
Alabama, one of the greatest programs ever in the history. When Georgia, not say when, if Georgia beats, no pun intended, if Georgia beats Alabama in the SEC championship game, their hearts, they're locked in. And I hope, and this is going to go to Georgia this year. And I mean, yes, like you mentioned after my call last time, they, you root for everybody else. And of course I'll root, because it's been a while for you guys, man. I think that's the hunger. I watch other YouTube, like Lockdown on Georgia, that little feed and everything. They're a little pompous. They're a little bit over the top, but Georgia fans are hungry, man. It's to the point now.
Sir, I'm starving.
If not this year, when?
I'm starving. I'm hungry like a hostage. I'm freaking starving. Hey, thank you for.
I don't speak pineapple, Will.
Yeah, thank you for the call. I'm hungry like a freaking hostage over here. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
Uncle Lou, this is Homegrown Cowboy. How you doing, man?
Doing good. What's up, buddy?
All right. To finish up with that conversation a little bit, Bryce Young, he's the only hope that we have right now. I'm a Bama fan.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, and it's pretty obvious that we have a depleted running back situation, and the offensive line is pretty much depleted. So we have the number one quarterback in the nation, at least in my opinion, and one of the best defensive players in the nation. With that said, we do have a chance. I'm going to step ahead of myself here. Bryce Young, with him doing well and everything, you know what? And Alabama fans are not going to want to hear this. But my biggest fear right now is not beating Georgia. It's him going to USC.
Oh, I don't think you have to worry about that. Bryce Young transferring, I don't see that happening.
You don't see it happening?
No.
Okay.
Lincoln Riley's already flipped some quarterback commits. I know that's in the future, but I really don't think. I guess I understand your concern. He's from out there, but I mean, he's had a great year at Bama, and I would be shocked. And it's hard to shock me when it comes to college football anymore, especially with the transfer portal.
Man, we
see a lot of weird things.
Luke.
That would shock me if Bryce Young were to transfer. That would, I don't even know what I would say.
That's the whole thing right there. You just said it. It would shock you. It would shock everybody.
Yeah.
And so, that's just, I don't know. I'm out here in East Texas. I'm a Bama fan. I went, growing up, I went from Birmingham back out here to Texas and so on. That's the reason why I'm a Bama fan. But I'm kind of spinning off here a little bit onto the OU thing. But everybody out here is just, all the OU fans are just absolutely just losing their head.
Yeah, I bet.
Let me tell you.
Well, they should be.
And,
not only do they lose their coach, they've lost, 5
coaches,
5 current 5-stars off their roster, plus the majority of next year's recruiting class. They should be concerned.
Yeah, and they lost some of their coaches too.
Yeah.
And it's not looking good for them. And I was on Akuno. I think you pretty much know who he is. And I was telling him, look, O'Reilly's going to leave. He's going to leave. And, he he just wouldn't take it, into consideration. And, look at him now. Okuno's losing his head. I feel sorry for the guy.
Yeah, well, I guess you were right, but I mean, I wouldn't have bet on that either. That surprised. I always thought, actually, both the Lincoln Riley and the Brian Kelly thing. I have said on here, I don't know how many times, there's 3 prominent head coaches in college football that I would not be shocked if they left for the NFL. Lincoln Riley, Brian Kelly, Dan Mullen. All 3 are now gone, and none are in the NFL. I am completely shocked with the Brian Kelly and the Lincoln Riley thing. I did not see either of those things coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, let me spin off of that a little bit, okay? It's kind of crazy that this happened because at the end of last year, I'm talking to the Longhorn fans, remember, East Texas, talking to the Longhorn fans out here, and they're like, we're never going to do anything, and all of a sudden my team, Alabama, the offensive coordinator, Sarkisian, goes after the Longhorns, and they're like, well, maybe we got some hope, here and stuff. And I said, well, look, what Texas needs to do is go to the SEC. Now, this was at the end of last year, okay, I remind you. And sure enough, it happened. It happened. And Texas and Akuno, I know I've brought his name up already, but I've talked to Akuno about this, and all the fans with OU are saying, it's OU that brought Texas and OU to SEC, which is actually the other way around. Texas brought OU to the SEC.
Yeah.
Now they're starting to see that, and they won't admit it. Now, I'm not a very good trash talker. You are. If I had your mind thinking and stuff, I could eat them up, but I just didn't do it.
Let me ask you this. What do you think the prospects are of the Oklahoma State game staying on the schedule once Oklahoma joins the SEC?
Are you talking about the relationship? I mean, as far as
the game, are they going to play? Are they going to play?
I think it would kind of be like Texas and Alabama. Texas and Alabama play every once in a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I might be thinking about somebody else, but they will play each other because they're in state.
That's what I hope.
Going to be.
I'm a traditionalist when it comes to college football. I'm a traditionalist that is open to some amount of change because it's inevitable. But I don't like Texas and Texas A&M. I hate that they quit playing. I would hate for the Oklahoma State game to go away. I mean, that's one of those games that, as a college football fan, forget the fact that Georgia's my favorite team. I like the Oklahoma State game every year, and I don't want to lose that.
I really don't think it's going to go anywhere because it is in state, just like TCU and SMU out here.
Yeah,
they constantly play each other. I think they're going to keep that that going. But you brought up A&M. Texas and Texas A&M absolutely hate each other.
Yeah,
OU and A&M absolutely hate each other. Obviously, Auburn and Alabama is going to swing over to the SEC East when all this happens. I'm pretty sure we all figured that out. But that's what's going to happen, and hopefully, at that time, we'll have an expanded playoff.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're in favor of that, but that's my hope. So.
All right, but I'm going to have to let you go. I got to move on to the next call. But, hey, thank you for calling in. It was good to hear from you. We're going to have to run through these next calls pretty quick because I got to get out of here. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou, this is Mike, the Alabamian from Kentucky.
Yes,
Remember
sir.
me?
Yes, sir, I do. What's up, bud?
Oh, man. I can't wait till Saturday, man. Y'all really sound optimistic this year, man. You really do.
Where's that $1,000?
Well, bro, I knew you were going to bring that up.
Of course I brought it up because of course I'm going to bring it up because you called in 2 months ago.
You want me to pay you in advance, bro. You ain't Paul Feinbaum, buddy. You got 300 goddamn people listening to your show. Okay? I'm probably nationally known more than you are, dude. I've been talking to Feinbaum for 8 freaking years. More people know who I am than know who you are, bro. If you want to make a gentleman's bet, we can do it right now.
You called this show 2 months ago. You offered $1,000 bet. I took you up on it.
And
Alabama lost,
stands, bro.
Alabama lost the following week, and you have not been seen or heard from since. You're a coward pussy.
Oh, whatever, bro. We'll see who the coward is. You're gonna be happy you didn't make that bet, bro. Here I am.
I tried to make the bet.
Bryce Young standing on 2
I
good
tried to make the
legs.
bet. You wouldn't send the money.
No, you didn't. Yeah. You wanted me to send you the money in advance.
Yeah.
Keep it real, bro.
Yes.
Keep it real, bro.
Yes.
You're
an anonymous typer troll. You're an anonymous typer troll trying to make $1,000 bet with me. And then you disappeared.
We can still do it, bro.
Why did you disappear for 2 months when Alabama lost? Exactly. Because you're a pussy coward. Have a great day. Giant fucking pussy. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Lou.
Good morning.
This is the notorious Uncle Lou, college game day sign holder. How you doing today?
Oh man, yeah, I'm doing good. What's up?
So, Lou, I haven't been talking much smack all year, but Alabama's gonna get it all. And I'm going to get this over with quick because I know you got a lot of callers to get to. But Bryce Young, I know you're listening to this. N'Kobe Dean, Channing Tindall, Jordan Davis, all going to be in your face. And Alabama fans, I'm going to be waving my keys at you as you're leaving the stadium from Mercedes-Benz on Saturday at about 8 o'clock.
Those are all facts. And shout out to you for the Uncle Lou sign on College Game Day. That was amazing. Thank you. That was awesome. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou. How's it going? It's Enrique.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, yeah. I apologize. I fell off the face of the earth, but I'm coming in here with my Lincoln Riley hot take.
Yep.
I'm actually in the minority here. I don't like the hire personally, and it's simply just an Oklahoma issue. We've seen what he does at Oklahoma. It's a plug-in offense. He doesn't get two shits about a defense. And at Southern Cal, we pride ourselves in our defense. And we just can't have that. You know, yes, you got Kyler and Baker to get Heisman's, and he makes the playoffs, but like you said, he gets blown out in the first round. So I don't know if that's the superstar hire that, you know, Southern Cal is going for. I get it. He's a good recruiter. You know, he's already flipped some serious 5-star players, but you know, if you can't get it done when it matters, what's the point?
If he made the playoffs 3 or 4 times in the Big 12, what do you think he's going to do in the Pac-12?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's going to run the board. The Pac-12 is the least of his concern, but what matters is natties. He's not going to get a single natty.
Well, I hear you. I hear you that Natty. I hear you that natties is what matters. But you're Southern Cal. You've been terrible for how many? 15 years. So
15 years, yeah.
I mean, I hear you that natties are important, but I don't know if a Southern Cal fan really should have the attitude that making the playoffs is no big deal, considering you've never done it.
Okay, I can see that, but, you know, it's one of those things that you're coming out at your first press conference and saying you're going to make Southern Cal the mecca of college football. That mecca and natties kind of go hand in hand. You can't be the center of college football without being dominant, and being dominant means winning multiple natties. So I don't know if he thinks he's Nick Saban. I kind of hope he is, but you know, only time will tell. And hopefully he's right. I mean, yeah. I really am rooting for him, but I'm not a fan of the hire. And in other news, it really does feel like 1980, Lou. Wish you dogs best of luck this weekend, and hopefully that you guys secure that 15-0.
All right, thanks, Enrique. It's good to hear from you again, buddy. Good to hear from you again. Glad you're still around. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning,
though. How you doing today? I'm a Bama fan.
I'm doing great. Georgia's 12-0, and so am I.
That's great. I just want to say I hope it's a great matchup on Saturday, and good luck to Georgia.
I appreciate that. It's not a great matchup. Georgia is better in almost every conceivable way, but it's still possible we could get a good game, though. So we'll see. Thank you for the call, Alabama man. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
What's up, Uncle Lou? I'm a Georgia Tech fan, man. I'm just calling to thank you guys for the ass whooping you gave us this weekend.
It's never too late to change, sir.
You know what, man? I've been riding with this team since Reggie Ball, bro. I'm gonna stick it out. We're good at basketball. We're really good at basketball and baseball.
Okay, good.
But all the sports that don't matter. So I was calling to wish y'all luck. I don't really, our programs are we're just at two totally different points. Like, it's not even close anymore. Like, when I was a kid, it used to be like.
Should Georgia Tech have fired Jeff Collins, in your opinion? Or should they give him more time? What do you think?
This is it. The first year was a wash. We still had Taquan Marshall. He couldn't throw. We still had all the wing T guys there. So, I don't know. This year, I know as a Georgia fan, you guys aren't used to hearing this, but we actually got 3 4-stars this year, which is huge.
Well, yeah, that's the one thing Collins has done well. Collins has recruited well. And generally, I don't think that a coach should ever be fired after 3 years. But the problem is the 3-3-3. 3 years, 3 wins, all 3 years. Like, that's no improvement at all. That's alarming.
Yeah, well, he gave us some heads this past Monday. I know he fired the defensive coordinator, believe the offensive line coach. We just lost our player, Jamar Gibbs, in the transfer portal. So
and he's your best player, in my opinion.
He really is. He probably should go to Georgia. You guys don't have any running backs, I don't think, next year. Any seniors coming back.
We don't have any running backs.
But, not that you don't have any running backs. You'll probably get 5 5-stars next week. But, but we're just in a totally different. But I was calling to wish y'all luck. I'm the only Georgia Tech fan in my house. So there's 3 Georgia fans. I'm the only one hanging out.
Damn. Yeah. So, rough for you, then.
Like I said, we got basketball.
That's true.
Let's take that one to the bank.
That's true. Hey, man, look, I hope Georgia Tech gets it turned around. I love rivalry games, and so I'm a Georgia fan. So, yes, I love beating Georgia Tech 45-0. But as a college football fan, college football is better when rivalry games are a little more competitive. So, it wouldn't completely kill me to see Georgia Tech get a little bit better, but we'll see. Hey, thank you for the call. It was good to hear from you. All right, that's going to be it for the phone calls. I got to get out of here. You guys have wore me out. Let me get caught up on these super chats, though, and also in addition to that as well. Jonah says, LOL, this Bama fan from Kentucky is delusional. Probably couldn't rub 2 nickels together with 2 months' notice. Fact, this guy called 2 months ago, wanted to bet me $1,000 on Georgia versus Bama in the SEC title game. This was before he even knew if Bama was going to make the SEC title game. I took him up on the bet, but just like every other bet I do on this channel, and look, I don't care what anybody thinks about my bet policy, okay? I've been screwed too many times. Y'all know who I am. I don't know who some random typer troll in the comment section is. Look at some of these names you see in the comment section. Why am I going to just blindly make a bet with someone that I don't know? So they have to send me the money ahead of time. I have done this 100 times, and there's not a single person that has won a bet with me that did not get paid. But I am not about to make a $1,000 bet or a $10 bet with an anonymous caller or an anonymous typer troll. And when they lose the bet, they disappear or they change their screen name. I have no way of tracking them down to break their legs. I'm known. I'm not going anywhere. If I lose a bet and don't pay, there will be 500 people in here. Lou don't pay his bets. Lou don't pay his bets. Lou made a bet with a guy and didn't pay it. My reputation is worth more So, the guy talked big boy shit with a little girl's wallet is what happened. He wanted to bet $1,000. I took him up on it. He never sent the money. Literally 2 days later, Saturday, Alabama lost to Texas A&M, and we have not seen or heard from this guy since. Now he wants to call up tonight with the $1,000 bet routine. What a moron. $1,000. This guy don't have $10. I've been calling in the fine bomb for 7 years. Stick to calling in the fine bomb then. You're not needed here. Eric DeLion, thank you for the super chat. This whole game boils down to which team can get over 3 yards per carry. Well, that's going to be Georgia. Alabama only averages 4.1 yards per carry for the year. Georgia averages almost 6 yards per carry for the year. Gabe, thank you for the super chat. Georgia doesn't have 3 Will Andersons. That's true. They don't have any Will Andersons. There's not a single player on Georgia's team named Will Anderson. Parker says, would UJ rather play Cincy or Oklahoma State in the playoff? Doesn't matter to me, really. I think Georgia would beat either one. It'd be an interesting rematch, Georgia versus Cincinnati, because it was such a great game last year. Parker says, if Bama and Oklahoma State win, does Cincy miss the playoffs? Yes. Jonah, thank you for the super chat. Bama fan delusional. William Fletcher, thank you for the super chat. Safety's got to play deep. Here's a saying for Saturday. If scene ain't in the screen, that's a good thing. Got to play deep. Go Dogs. I agree with you there. Bro, listen. I've been on Fine Bomb, bro. I know what I'm talking about, bro. Bro, please, just give me $1,000, bro. I'm good for it, bro. Thank you, Nikki. UJ71 says, go Dogs, Lou. Can't wait to head to Atlanta on Saturday. You going to the game, man? That's great. That's awesome, man. Have a great time. I'm sure you will. I'm going to hold you responsible for a win, okay, since you're going. Bring me a win home. D-Man, thank you for the super chat. Lou, thanks for the show. Here's half a Waffle House meal. Thank you. I went to Waffle House yesterday. Thank you for that. Time 8:45 says Army-Navy game prediction. I hate doing predictions on that game because I don't like picking against either Army or Navy. But I'm going to take Army. Caleb says, coward pussy. Go Dogs, 31-17. All right, everybody. I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I had a great time. We will do it again next Tuesday night. Win or lose, win or lose. I'll be here next Tuesday night to take phone calls. Again, I love you guys, and I'll see you again real soon. Have a good morning.
Stop mistreating Uncle Lou!